Our general manager is in the eye of the storm. A draft decision from last year is haunting us like a curse, and the results are devastating. Watching that defensive tackle dominate in the playoffs while we have, well, I'd better not say it. The fan base is furious, and rightfully so. Second, breaking news about our franchise quarterback that has everyone on edge. A surgery no one saw coming that could, but wait, there's more behind this story that'll make your blood boil when you hear the full details. Third, breaking news. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity just opened up for the Bears, but the competition is tough. An elite offensive coordinator has become available, but guess who else wants him, and you won't believe who's trying to steal him from us. If you want all the explosive details, like this video, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. This information is so crucial, it could determine the future of our beloved franchise. Don't miss it! Listen up, Bears family, because this is important. Do you know what I was doing this past Sunday? Watching Jalen Carter, yes, that Jalen Carter we let slip away, completely dominate a playoff game. And let me tell you something, this has me furious. But let's break this down, because I need you to understand the magnitude of this disaster. Ryan Poles, our beloved GM, the same guy who's supposedly rebuilding this franchise, made a choice that's haunting us like a bad ghost story. And you know what stings the most? I told you so. The numbers are outrageous, 15 wins in 3 seasons. We swapped the 9th overall pick for the 10th and a 4th rounder, and that 4th rounder turned into a punter. Are you kidding me? Let me say this, and I want you to pay close attention. When you have the chance to draft someone who can change the course of your franchise, you do not pass on it. Character concerns? Please. Let me ask you this. How many character concerns did you see yesterday when he was absolutely wrecking the Rams' offensive line? Do you know what Carter did in that playoff game? Let me refresh your memory. 2 critical sacks, 1 forced fumble, consistent pressure on Stafford, and a game-changing 4th down stop. Meanwhile, what do we have? A decent right tackle, yeah, right's good, I'll give him that, and a punter. A punter, people. Look, I respect all players, but trading the chance to draft a potential All-Pro for this? Come on! Here's where it gets wild. Poles didn't just pass on Carter. He also passed on Jared Verse, who, by the way, also stood out in that same Rams game. What about Kobe Turner? Another guy we could have had. It's like we're out here handing talent to the competition for free. Let me tell you something personal. When I saw Carter get that clutch sack in the 4th quarter, I almost threw my remote out the window. You know why? Because that could have been our moment. That could have been Carter in navy and orange, locking down Soldier Field. And let's talk about team culture for a second, because Poles used that as an excuse. Character concerns, he said. But let me ask you, what's worse for team culture? A young, talented player needing guidance or an organization that consistently makes subpar decisions? Fans are livid on social media, and they have every right to be. They're seeing what I'm seeing, a dominant player we could have had making game-changing plays in the playoffs while we're stuck in rebuild mode yet again. Here's what scares me the most. This isn't just a one-off mistake. It's part of a bigger pattern. Yes, Poles has had some hits, like the trade for DJ Moore. But how many more misses can we afford? Now, let me make this clear. I'm not saying Wright is a bad pick. What I'm saying is that when you have a chance to draft a generational talent, you take it. Period. So here's my question for you, my dear Bears family. How much longer are we going to settle for mediocrity? When are we going to demand better from our front office? Because I'll tell you this, while other teams are competing for the Super Bowl, we're stuck accepting potential. You know what hurts the most? Seeing our fan base, the most loyal in the NFL, stuck watching the playoffs from home while players who could have been OURS lighted up for other teams. So, let me ask, should Ryan Poles be held accountable for these decisions? Should we give him more time? Or is it time to admit that maybe, just maybe, we need a deeper change within this organization? We've got news on our franchise quarterback, and let me tell you, this is big. Caleb Williams just underwent surgery on his throwing wrist, but don't panic just yet. Let me tell you, when I first heard surgery and throwing wrist in the same sentence, I nearly had a heart attack. But take a deep breath, because I'm going to explain why we shouldn't hit the panic button yet. You know what? This surgery was to remove a cyst. A cyst? We're not talking tendons, we're not talking ligaments. And according to reports, this won't mess with his off-season program. But here's my question. Why didn't we find out about this earlier in the season? Let's talk stats, because they're important. Williams wrapped up his rookie year completing 62.5% of his passes with a 20-6 touchdown to interception ratio. Not bad, right? But, and here's the big but, he was sacked 68 times. 68! That's unacceptable. Here's the thing. While we're over here worrying about a little wrist cyst, we should be furious that our franchise quarterback spent the season getting pummeled like a tackling dummy. Where's the protection? Where's the offensive line? Let me tell you what worries me more than this surgery. We still don't have a head coach. Sure, Thomas Brown's interview happened, but is he the right guy to develop Williams? Let me ask you this, shouldn't we be chasing the best quarterback developer on the market? Speaking of development, did you notice how much better Williams played once Brown took over the offense? But let's be real, a 5-12 record isn't what we expected when we drafted a generational quarterback. Is that on Williams? Not entirely. On the coaching staff? Partially. On the front office for not giving him the tools he needs? Absolutely. And here's my biggest worry. While we're all distracted by this tiny cyst, there are far bigger problems screaming for attention. We need a head coach who can bring out the best in Williams. We need an offensive line that keeps him upright. And most importantly, we need a clear direction for this franchise. You know what keeps me up at night? It's not Caleb's wrist surgery. It's the thought that we might be wasting another promising quarterback talent. How many times have we seen this movie before? So here's my question to you, Bears family. Do you trust the current front office to build the right team around Williams? Because I'll tell you what, the clock's ticking. Rookie contracts don't last forever, and before you know it, we'll be talking multi-million-dollar extensions. Things are heating up. Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, is now on the market earlier than expected, and let me tell you, this is our chance. But hold on, because here comes the uncomfortable truth. Guess who else is after Johnson? The Raiders, with Tom Brady backing them up. And let me ask you this, are we really going to let Brady steal this from us too? Look, let's be real. The Lions just got humiliated by the Commanders. Is that bad for them? Sure. But for us, it's a blessing in disguise. Why? Because now we get to interview Johnson in person right away. I'll tell you this week is crucial. And according to Schefter, who's rarely wrong about these things, the whole interview and hiring process will wrap up this week. Are you hearing me? This week. We don't have time to waste. Here's the kicker. We've already met the Rooney Rule requirements by interviewing Eddie George. Smart move by the front office, I'll admit. But let me ask you this. What good is meeting the requirements if we can't close the deal with our top candidate? Do you know what haunts me at night? The thought of watching Ben Johnson turn the Raiders into an offensive powerhouse while we're still out here searching for our identity. We can't let that happen. Think about it. We have Caleb Williams. We have draft picks. We have the Chicago market. What do the Raiders have? Sure, they've got Brady in the front office, but I'll tell you this, Chicago is a way more attractive destination. Here's my biggest fear. If we lose out on Johnson, what's the backup plan? Because let me tell you something, this isn't the time for backup plans. This is the time to go all in on our number one pick. Let me ask you something straight up. When was the last time we had the chance to hire the most sought-after offensive coordinator in the league? When was the last time we had a young, talented quarterback waiting to be developed? This is our moment. And for those saying, but Jacksonville's also interested, let me tell you, are you serious? Jacksonville? Please, they're not even in the same conversation. Here's my message to the Bears front office. Do whatever it takes. Offer whatever you need to offer. Because if we let Ben Johnson go, especially if he ends up with the Raiders, we'll be regretting it for years. And to you, my dear Bears family, what do you think the organization should do to lock in Johnson? Do you believe we're really the front runners? Or is Tom Brady and the Raiders going to take this battle too? Bears family! After breaking down these crucial updates about our team, I need your help to figure out the future of our beloved franchise. Ryan Poles has made decisions that have shaped our team's path, but the question is clear. Does he deserve to stay in charge of this rebuild, or is it time for a dramatic change? The future of Caleb Williams is on the line, and as a family, we need to ask ourselves, do we have the right pieces in place to build a dynasty around this generational talent? And speaking of key pieces, Ben Johnson could be the golden ticket, but can we really win this battle against the Raiders and other teams chasing him? Bears family, your opinion is crucial to building this community. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, share your theories, and most importantly, join this family by subscribing to the channel. Every new subscriber is another member of this roaring Bears pack. Turn on that bell so you don't miss any of these breakdowns. Remember, together we are stronger. See you in the next video. Bear down!